What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast. Sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. They're linked in the description to this video, so go ahead and check them out. So we've got multiple risk areas for today. We got the Plains, the Colorado area, Mississippi Valley to talk about. So we're going to cover all of our hail and wind chances for you. And then it's going to continue into tomorrow. We've got a cold front in action. As that sinks down to the south, we got more hail and wind chances for you, again in the north and the southeast. And then, yeah, that's right, the cold front making its move. And, you know, that heat that we've been seeing for the past ever is finally going to start letting up as that makes its way south overnight tonight. So taking a look at all of that good stuff. But first, getting into our upcoming events, the first of those being OU versus Utep for our Hail Trace tailgate. This one's by the Bud Wilkinson House on Jenkins Ave. So if you guys are football fans, if you're in the area, or if you just want to come out and see us, this is such a fun event to go to. We try to do these for all of OU's home games. So we're going to be in the Norman area. This is September 3rd. And you guys can get free food, free beer. We'll just chit-chat, watch the game, play some cornhole, and then you also have a chance to win some box seats if you enter a raffle that's going to be at the tailgate. So lots of good reasons to come out and say hello at that. Then another one for you, we got the RCAT MRCA Roofing Conference in Fort Worth. This one's going to be Fort Worth, Texas, September 27th through the 29th, so got a little time to prepare for that, but just throw in this event your all's way so you can get ready to come see us there. Then into yesterday, we had, a scattering of risks, and we have a scattering of reports coming out of those. So the first is going to be up through the northern part of the Plains, North Dakota there, and then all sorts of hail and wind that kind of scattered around through the southeast. So, tornado reports in North Dakota, as well as just a scattering of severe hail. Notably, Colorado did get some severe hail as well as gusty winds. Now, the severe hail did miss Denver, but, the south end of the city did get hit with some severe wind for you yesterday. And then hopping down into the southeast, plenty of severe wind through the area, as well as, again, a scattering of severe hail through there up to, I believe, golf balls through the North Carolina and South Carolina border area there. So, a little bit to talk about from yesterday. It's been hot, hard to get hail. We've kind of covered that, but we could be seeing some second season resurgence here with this first cool down from the cold front right now. So here's our current conditions. Clear once you get west of the Rockies, a little bit cloudier out to the east. Where did it hail in Colorado? So it was just south of Colorado, or I guess of Denver. Go ahead and check our maps and you can see just to the south of the city is where that severe hail hit. I believe it was like quarters to $50. So back into our current conditions here. Cloudy conditions pretty much across Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, that whole central corridor, and that's where that cold front is lingering and getting ready to push south later today. So jumping on into our northern risk area, we do have a low pressure system that's getting ready to track off to the southeast. So we got one up to the north, one down to the south. This north one is just going to cause a little tiny blip of some severe weather to probably occur through North Dakota, Minnesota later today. And then down to the south, that's where that main system is occurring today and tomorrow. The far western side of it will probably impact the New Mexico, Colorado area with a long period of rain. So possibly get ready for some more flooding into today and this afternoon, evening. And then all the way as far east as Tennessee, once again, as that pushes south, we'll get some scattered storms tracking through the southern Mississippi Valley. Could see hail and wind. So here's that cold front where we've been talking about for the past couple of days. So it's going to be pretty much here right now all the way through 6 p.m., not making a whole ton of a change throughout this afternoon and evening, just kind of lingering through the Mississippi Valley and through the northern part of the southeast states here. So we got mid-80s and even upper 90s expected by 6 p.m. tonight through much of the south. Way cooler off to the north. But here we go by overnight, we start to see that start to make its big push through Oklahoma, through Arkansas, dropping down into the 60s and 70s by the midnight hour and continuing its way down to the south with that low pressure system by tomorrow at noon. And for so many of us in Oklahoma, it's going to feel so much more pleasant. And once that makes its way through the DFW area, more pleasant conditions again for you guys. And then with that cooler weather, we can start to see some severe weather possibly return with more cold fronts moving through. So rooting for this guy to make its way all the way down south, get us some rain, get us some cooler weather, crossing our fingers for that. So with that cold front, we are seeing a ton of instability out ahead of it. Here we are by 1:30 with this first low pressure system tracking through North Dakota and Minnesota. We will see a good area of some modest CAPE values, and with that we could start to see some updrafts forming some hail through that area. So that's going to be our first chance at severe weather today. Then by 6 p.m. that's when the south is really going to start to flare up there. So through Arkansas, through Mississippi, again some moderate to high CAPE values through there, moderate to high instability. Again, that'll help updrafts to form some hail potentially, as well as some gusty winds with those strong upper level winds with that low pressure system. And then overnight with that cold front moving through, it's going to start to taper off, and again, less for tomorrow morning. We'll see if it can jump back up into tomorrow afternoon. So looking at that here on our forecast radar, we've got nothing really going on right now through the northern states here, but by 3 p.m. starting to see a train of isolated cells tracking through the very northward rural part of Minnesota. Those should continue to spread off to the east, and then we get a second round of severe weather forming just north of Fargo. So we got this one off to the east and one on the North Dakota-Minnesota border that's going to continue to track off to the southeast through the evening and overnight. Hail possible with those, wind possible with those as well as they continue off and then kind of, weaken through the overnight hours. Then down into Colorado, into the, Mississippi Valley area here. Already got some rain going on through the Denver area. That's going to intensify. I know there's already been some flooding out there, so again, that's a concern that we want to keep our eye on. But we cover hail and wind here, and that's what we're talking about with the southern part of this band. So along 25, we're going to see those isolated cells forming once again off the Front Range as they move off to the east. We have a chance of hail with those. They're going to continue making their way towards Oklahoma's Panhandle as well as Kansas. And then through the Mississippi Valley here, we're going to start to see things pick up by 6 p.m. So there's our Springfield area supercells, or isolated cells forming, I should say. Not really a tornado chance with these, no rotation, so just updrafts that could produce some hail. So watching those as they track off to the southeast, starting to intensify and see a little more storm coverage through Missouri and Arkansas. And then our Colorado risk is starting to turn into a wind risk as we get that band tracking into Oklahoma and Kansas by 8 p.m. Central. As that continues off eastward, seeing again more storm coverage through the south and east as it continues to track through Memphis by 6 in the morning. So, lots of rain, lots of thunder. Again, making a run at Oklahoma City tomorrow morning with those storms. But again, wind possible, hail possible through the Mississippi Valley as well as Colorado, and then through Oklahoma, waiting on that cold front to sink down southward through the city. Then for our hail forecast, tying all of that together for you guys, we got, again, Minnesota, North Dakota, Colorado area, as well as the Mississippi Valley to talk about. Keeping everybody in the quarter to half dollar size range because of that heat. And then the low pressure system up here where it's cooler is a little bit weaker. So quarters to half dollars are going to be mostly what we're expecting for tonight. So Grand Forks and Fargo, as well as, again, the northern part of Minnesota, you guys could see some quarters to half dollar size severe hail with those storms tracking through. Then down off into Colorado and into the Mississippi Valley, more hail for you, low end chances across the board. It's going to be pretty scattered as it has been for the past few days, but a severe hail chance nonetheless. So anywhere from Pueblo, Springfield, Little Rock, Jackson, any of you guys could see some severe hail into tonight. Then for severe wind, looking at some similar areas, extending that wind risk a little bit farther into Oklahoma and Kansas on both ends, so in the Colorado and Mississippi Valley end here, but keeping our northern end risk pretty much the same. So again, Fargo, Grand Forks, northern Minnesota, low end chance for you guys to see some gusty winds into today and tonight. And then off into Colorado and Arkansas and, Mississippi Valley area, once again, low end chances for you guys to get some severe winds with any of those storms rolling through. And again, Colorado, just be on the lookout for flooding today because, again, that's going to be, unfortunately, an issue with that long period you get of storms moving through the area. Then for tomorrow, going to have some hail to talk about, going to have some wind to talk about as well. Starting out with our hail risk through the northern states, again, it's much cooler up here, so it's a little easier to get that severe hail. So by 4:30 Central, we're going to see some isolated cells making their way pretty much between Minot and Bismarck. Seeing those starting to flare up again, tracking off to the east towards Bismarck once again by 7 p.m. And now we're getting things tracking over west towards Glasgow as well. Any of those could be isolated hailers. Again, I mean, you can see from the nature of those storms, there's not a ton of coverage. So it's going to stay isolated, but we could get some severe hail out of any of those. And then they're going to kind of fizzle out as they make their way towards Aberdeen in the overnight hours. Then down south. Much warmer through here, but with our cold front, we do have some upper level winds that are, trucking on through. And with any of this rain and any of these storms, that can push that down to the surface, get us some severe wind. And that's really what we're looking at for the south and east right now for tomorrow. So by 3 p.m., here's our storms developing from, Louisiana, all the way from Shreveport through Mississippi, through the southern states, as well as all the way pretty much towards Savannah and Florida. We've got some isolated chances at some, severe weather starting to form by 3 p.m. That's going to continue in its coverage by 5 p.m. And then, all the way through Jacksonville, again through Jackson, Shreveport, continued chance at seeing some severe hail and wind. Slowly sinking southward with that cold front. There we are by 9 p.m. Still looking good in terms of coverage from east to west here across the southern Gulf states. And then finally, we'll start to see that taper off into the overnight hours. But then there's that Oklahoma band of storms tracking its way into Arkansas and into Texas for your Thursday morning. And then we might have some more weather to talk about with you guys for that then. So we're keeping our eye on that. So here's your hail forecast for tomorrow. So only going to focus right now on those cooler northern states, again, from Minot to Bismarck. Low end chance with those scattered storms, but a chance nonetheless. Then for wind, talking about the southern states primarily here, all the way from just to the east of Dallas, sorry DFW, all the way into Jacksonville and Savannah. Could see a chance of scattered storms anywhere through there producing some severe winds. So Jacksonville, Mobile, Jackson, and Shreveport, anywhere in between. Be on the lookout for some loud thunderstorms tomorrow, as well as potentially some gusty winds. Then talking tropics, guys. So we do actually have a disturbance for you guys off in the Gulf. It's been a minute since we've seen anything impacting there for a while, and we've had an unusually slow start to hurricane season considering the past couple of years. But down here in the Gulf and in the Caribbean, we do have a little area of low pressure. You can see it's kind of circular there, kind of spinning away, but we need to start seeing it get organized, and it's going to hit the Yucatan Peninsula. So, if you're in the Yucatan Peninsula, got to be on the lookout for that. But we'll see if it can continue to keep its intensity once it gets out of there and moves into the Gulf. So next 2 days, not really a chance to see that develop into any sort of, tropical depression or storm or anything. Just going to kind of see it still try to organize itself as it gets in and out of the Yucatan. But then once it makes its way into the Gulf over the next 5 days, we got a 20% chance of it forming. We'll see if that goes up as time goes forward, as it moves into favorable conditions. Here's what it looks like in the Gulf of Mexico right now. Mid-80s across the board pretty much, so that nice warm water temperature that we need to see for that tropical depression formation, that's what we got through the Gulf of Mexico right now, and it's making its way into that loop current area and through all those warm Gulf waters. So we do have some favorable conditions for it to develop once it gets into the Gulf, but right now, nothing to be concerned about, just something to keep our eye on. So definitely going to be monitoring that over the next few days, and we'll keep you guys updated into the weekend as we could potentially see that developing. We're moving into September. That's usually peak season. So again, just stay tuned. You guys can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit See First on Facebook so you don't miss a live video. Then if you want to get in contact with us, give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can also email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out our website, hailtrace.com, for more details. And we'll keep you updated and advised as always. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.